fellow seekers of the supernatural. I'll be your guide through the mysterious realm. In each episode, we'll unravel spine-tingling tales, explore haunted locations, and delve into the inexplicable. Brace yourselves for encounters with restless spirits, cryptids, and things that defy logic. So dim the lights, grab your sage, and join us as we peer into the darkness. Because the truth is stranger than fiction. Subscribe now and remember, the paranormal is among us.
Hey everybody, how's everybody doing here on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon? It is normally I do the Tuesday shows, as you know, on the patio, but a few minutes ago it decided to have a thunderstorm roll through here. So instead of trying to compete with the rain and the wet dogs trying to run around outside, I'm just going to come on down here into the man cave and have the show down here. So nice and warm, or nice and cool down here. So I've had to throw the hoodie on, but it is dry and it is quiet down here. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Hope your weekend is good. And hey, look, I have a little visitor that has come to join me today. Say hello to Tex. How you doing, sir?
Hey.
Thank you for
Taco Tuesday to everybody.
Happy Taco Tuesday. You know, it bums me out that the last couple times we've had tacos here, we've had incredibly bad heartburn. So we're bypassing the tacos for a while.
Well, that's
so
good.
No, that kind of sucks. The downfalls of getting older, I guess.
Hi, Pamela.
Hi, Pam. Hi, Fisher. Hi, Krista. Everybody kind of rolling in here. So today I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, so this Saturday we're going to be out at Ashmore Estates. Let me get that up here and kind of plug that real quick. I believe tickets are still available. There that is, May 18th and 19th. This weekend we'll be out at Ashmore doing ghost hunt, guest speakers, and we're going to have a pizza dinner, not necessarily in that order. But Tuesday, why do we keep going back to Tuesday? Saturday night, as long as we have good Wi-Fi out there, I will be going live and hopefully have a few cameras going on in the buildings and stuff. So it'll be fun. Rob and Terry will be there. Barton and Letitia Nunley will be there. I don't think they're going to go in the haunted house, though, into the mansion itself. They'll probably be outside by the fire pits. So, but they will be there and meeting everybody. Jessica Potter will be there, Rachel Marie, Josh Hurd, myself. After Dark Paranormal and Blondes and Booze will be there as well. Get your tickets if there are any available. I'm not sure if they are at Eventbrite under Blondes and Booze tab, and it should be the first thing that pops up. So it'll be a fun night. And, you know, kind of before we go out there, I wanted to give a little bit of a history of Ashmore Estates. It is located in Ashmore, Illinois. Kind of imagine that. A little over 2 hours east of St. Louis, which is where I am. And it has a rich and complex history. The Coles County Poor Farm dates back to 1857. And it was initially located in Loexa, Illinois. Back in 1870, the farm was relocated to Ashmore Township after the county purchased 260 acres of land. Small timber and brick building, which was the first building on the new piece of land, was only 38 by 58 feet and 2 stories high. Many of the residents, or inmates as they were called back then, eventually died on the farm. In fact, in 1870, there were 32 recorded deaths out of approximately 250 inmates who lived on the farm from 1870 to 1879. By 1902, the Board of State Commissioners of Public Charities found that there was no special provision for the insane and that none are locked up or in restraints. Then by 1911, the Auxiliary Committee of the state's Board of Charities condemned the building for its vermin-infected walls, rough floors, small windows, and improper ventilation. Also, some reported that there were flies everywhere, especially on the food that was prepared for the inmates' dinners. Imagine living out there. That's disgusting.
Sounds like an absolutely beautiful place.
They've redone it since then. In 1916, and Krista said there's 3 more tickets left to be sold. In 1916, J.W. Montgomery built a new almshouse on the site, and that is a charitable house provided to poor people in a particular community, and was located on the Coles County Poor Farm. The building operated until 1959. Also in 1959, Coles County sold the almshouse and the grounds to Ashmore Estates Incorporated. The new corporation opened the building as a private psychiatric hospital, but after only 5 years of operation, the institution fell into debt and was forced to close its doors. A year later, Ashmore Estates was reopened, but it had changed from a private facility to an operation that accepted new patients from state mental institutions from around the area. In 1968, the Ashmore Estates facility housed 49 residents. 10 of those had epilepsy. In July 1976, Paul Swinford and Galen Martini, I'm not sure if I got that name right. I doubt if I did. They purchased the facility and then invested over $200,000 for the construction of an addition onto the old building. After the construction was complete, Ashmore Estates seemed to have a bright future in its site. Unfortunately, it didn't last. Paul Swinford and a Peoria-based company called Convalescent Management entered into a partnership in 1986 to help manage the institution's finances. Unfortunately for them, the Department of Public Aid and the Department of Public Health delayed issuing proper licenses and certificates for over a year, which led Swinford to close the facility. Due to the department's delay, Ashmore Estates' financial losses exceeded $1.5 million. Wow. By the end of April, all of the residents had been relocated to area homes, and Ashmore closed its doors. Let's see here. Fast forward to 1998. I feel so old talking about 1998. It feels so long ago, doesn't it? Or even 86.
What worries me is, or what gets me is kids that were born in 2003 or 4 are drinking age.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I remember the 80s vaguely.
Uh-huh. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Let's see. In 98, Arthur Kolklisher purchased the property for over $12,000. Imagine buying 260 acres and a building for $12,000.
Sign me up.
Yeah, no kidding. Finances in the 80s equals nose dust. Let's say he planned to renovate the building and turn it into his home. Unfortunately, due to vandals, he was never able to complete the renovation. In August 2006, Scott Kelly purchased Ashmore and began its own reservation. Kelly had offered flashlight tours of the building to help finance the renovations. To help discourage trespassers from the property, he moved into the house. He opened the haunted house in October 2006 and offered overnight stays in the building during the off-season. But in January 2013, a winter storm hit Ashmore and with winds up to 100 miles an hour, blowing the roof off and damaging support gables. And in 2014, Robin and Norma Terry, the current owners, purchased Ashmore Estates and pledged to restore the building. In less than 2 years after purchasing the property, Ashmore has seen new life. The building is now more popular than ever, going from people not wanting to return to location to people returning multiple times. And that is where we will be next Saturday.
Yeah, I'm gonna. It's on my bucket list. I'm gonna get up there at some point.
Yeah, I know this is going to be my first ghost hunt So I'm really looking forward to it. If it's run down or if it's looking nice, I'm really looking forward to it. And on the upside, it looks apparently looks really nice out there. And Chris has been there a couple times, and she said they've done so much to Ashmore. So looking forward
they've
to it
been up there
again.
so much, the ghosts probably know them.
I think this is where she had something thrown at her. Maybe I can't remember if that was at Ashmore. I know she's told me a couple times, but I can't remember that. She's been there 8 times. Nice. So that'll be fun next Saturday. So that'll be fun. So tune in next Saturday. We'll be going live. Hopefully, knock on wood, that we have some Wi-Fi out there, and then we can get a signal. See, maybe the spirits will be with me, Paul. The last time I did, we had a friend of mine do a live investigation that I had on here. I had spirits calling me idiots. I think calling me stupid. So let's hope that doesn't happen this time around. So that is Ashmore. We'll have a whole lot more for it on Saturday. So
I wonder about all the deaths that took place there. That's a lot. That's a lot
in a short amount of time.
Yeah,
and
makes you wonder what was going on.
I don't think. Well, judging by the conditions that they said, I can't imagine living conditions would be too good there. And then people dying. I'm sure medical treatment wasn't abundant.
Yeah,
back then. And I know there was a cemetery adjacent to the farm, but I don't know. I think it's still there. And there's some more deaths that were at the estates on the grounds. Let's see, lots of deaths, over 1,000. Wow.
I wonder how many were not natural deaths. That's my question.
Yeah. There's a cemetery down the road. I will ask that.
Lobotomies were done there. Ooh.
Sounds like a wonderful place to stay. Doesn't sound like it's a 5-star resort, or was a 5-star resort. Unmarked graves in the backyard.
Oh, break out the witching sticks. Yeah, I got to get up there. Man, I got to get up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could make a whole lot of stuff mad at me up there.
And I believe Terry Mosby is going to be there from After Dark Productions. We're going to be, I think she said if the skies are clear, we're going to do a little bit of UFO hunting too. Be prepared to be scared, Paul.
Sky watching.
Yeah, a little sky watching. So I looked on the forecast, and at least for St. Louis, which, I mean, this is pretty close to St. Louis, it's going to be clear skies and in the 80s.
Nice.
For the weekend. So let's hope we have good weather. So
Krista says, come up this weekend. I wish I could.
Yeah. But they have a calendar full of events and everything that just check their website. I believe it's ashmoreestates.com. I'm not exactly sure what the website is, but they have calendars on there. So yeah. And I know I was talking to somebody, I can't remember who. Oh, Brandy. I was talking to Brandy one time, and they do a teen ghost hunt in September. So I might take my son up there to check that out.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I remember her talking about that. She was saying she takes her daughter and that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And Krista, I think, said that she's taken that she wouldn't mind taking her daughters up to Ashmore either. So it's not a demonic place. So yeah, it'll be fun.
A lot of activity though.
Yeah, Yeah. And, a lot of activity and a lot of ghost hunting goes on up there. It seems like every week they have a good crowd up there. So good for them. Good for Rob and Terry getting his money's worth from owning that place and stuff. So he's done a good job up there. I was talking with him a little bit this morning. I don't know if he's watching or not. He said he was going to try to watch, but we'll see. So, yes.
I'm going to have to do some research on this place and see if I can find out more about the deaths that took place.
There's not a whole lot. I was doing some this past week and some this morning, and there's Wikipedia and the history of it on their website. Right. But I couldn't really find a deep dive into it. I'll try and do that as well. After we go there, maybe next week. Because I'm sure with a bunch of, it's not really an insane asylum, but
right.
With the conditions, I'm sure there's not a whole lot of natural deaths. So yeah, that would be interesting. And the spirits might even tell us this Saturday. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So.
Oh, lovely.
But anyway, Tex, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Was planning on getting out in the brush this weekend, and but in East Texas, but I have a prior engagement. A friend of mine is moving to Saudi Arabia for 2 years for his job. And he's having a get together, and I told him I would come, and he made it this weekend. So,
there you go.
Yeah, but I'll get to see a lot of people I used to go hang out with, go to school with, that type of thing. So,
yeah,
that'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That's always fun seeing old friends and stuff like that. And yeah. What does he do to go to Saudi Arabia for 2 years?
He works for a oil equipment company.
That makes sense.
Don't it?
Yeah. I don't know that I would want to go out there, though. I mean, that's...
Well, I'm kind of in the same boat with you, but I don't know. It sounds like they're going to, pretty much be protected and that type of thing. But I'm sure if things get hinky over there, he'll be the first one out the door. So,
yeah, I would think that our government would protect its oil interests out there at all costs.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
for sure. If you do a live, and I'm not too wrapped up, I will attend the live for sure.
Awesome.
Okay. Now I'm not sure. Krista, is this the same place that I think it was? It was the same place where that little about 18-inch tall shadow person was seen while doing a live out there, if I'm not mistaken.
In the attic, I believe.
It may have been.
Yeah.
It was in a hallway. That's all I know.
Yeah. I know. Go ahead.
I was like this. I was upstaged and I caught it. I saw it and go, whoo, and I'm like, what the world?
I
But yeah,
know
it was interesting.
Krista said she was going to try and do a live from there as well. So we'll probably take turns doing live and be on each other's live and everything. So what one person doesn't catch, the other might. So
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of activity up there, man. It's one of those things I don't think you'll be disappointed when you get up there.
yeah, I mean, even if we don't see a lot of activity, I mean, I get to meet all kinds of new people and stuff. Every people I see in chat will be there. War Criminal will be there. Crystal McGee, I think, said she's going to be there. A couple other people. So it'll. I'm Bartlett and Atisha. I of course met them on here, but I've never met them in person. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun and to hang out with everybody. I'm even getting a ride there from Pancho Zorch.
Oh, so. Pancho. I met him down at the conference in Texas, Falk, Arkansas, a couple weeks ago. Good dude. Good dude.
Yeah. We'll have a good conversation for about 2 hours going up there. So,
do you have any plans that you want to, or any experiments or anything like that you want to try when you're up there?
I do know that we were talking about doing the Estes method while we're up there, and we did that on the live show that I did on that live investigation with another couple, and I'm all for going under the hood, not under the hood, but blindfolded and stuff. So that'll be fun. But I'm the type of person that enjoys scaring other people.
Yeah,
and being on the outside of that, I would have no problem, grabbing the person's shoulders and scaring them to bring them out of it. But I'm also thinking that's going to scare the crap out of me when somebody, grabs my shoulder and say, it's time to stop. So, but it'll be fun. And Terry's going to bring her helmet. That'll be cool. Hopefully we'll get people take turns using that. That'll be kind of neat.
I kind of did that. I've never done the full blown Estes method, but we did something one time. It was kind of like that. I was blindfolded and I had I had a set of witching sticks in my hands, and we were doing it with that, and that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, being my first real investigation. I mean, I've had set up cameras at my work and stuff like that to try and catch things. Hi, Crystal. I think we were just talking about you.
Yep.
But of course,
wouldn't believe what Paul said.
Just whatever you do, don't go back and rewatch this, Crystal. But for my first time out there, I'm pretty much open to trying anything to communicate. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, just be careful how open you are.
Yeah. Well, maybe I should say willing to try any type of form to communicate. I don't want to get too open. Yeah.
There you
go. So, and I'm taking protection with me as well. So I've learned that. So spirit bait, no.
So what would be the most thing that you want to happen? If you had your druthers, what would you like to happen?
What I would like to have happen.
What would you like to experience? So let me put it that way.
Okay. I would like to capture disembodied voices on on camera or some kind of recording device. I'll take my phone and I'll have a separate video camera with me. I would like to see a shadow figure, maybe. Seeing something, having something move. I want to experience things that I've seen on TV
Gotcha.
that are non-demonic. And I want to have some kind of evidence that I can bring home that there is something out there that people question, that you always on these TV shows, you always wonder, okay, is that real? Did they really catch that voice, or is it somebody in post-production making that up and stuff? And, I want to have that happen to me so that I can be the one that says that is 100% true, that, I didn't fake any of that stuff. And that's, one thing that I won't ever do is fake anything. So, yeah,
well, I will tell you this. Some of the creepiest things I've ever caught were growls that I never heard. And they went on for like 5 minutes and I never heard them. There was a female's voice that I never heard. And this is all out in the woods. I had a female voice. I was walking up the trail and, you hear a female voice right in my mic and I was alone. Go, come on.
Wow. Wow. See, stuff like that to have recorded would be fantastic.
Yeah.
We had something happen towards the end of last year, I think, here at our house. I was on the couch watching football. My wife was, so the couch behind me was a small wall, and then our kitchen's behind that. The sink was almost directly behind me. My wife was making dinner on the stove, and I was sitting there watching football. And all of a sudden, we have surround sound speakers in the ceiling,
right,
but we didn't have it. It wasn't turned on for the TV at that time. So I'm watching football, and she's cooking away, and all of a sudden, I hear somebody whisper, "Oh my God!" And I was sitting next to the dogs. The dogs were sitting on the couch with me, and so obviously it wasn't them. So I kind of turned and looked kind of back at my wife and said, "Did you just say something?" And right when I said that, she turned and looked at me. "Did you say something?" So we both heard it. I have no idea what it was. Somebody said, "Oh my God." I don't know if it was a good play on TV or what, but yeah, that's one thing that happened here that I wish we would have gotten on camera somehow. But that was kind of freaky.
I was kind of looking around here on the web, on the interweb, I guess you could say, for maybe who had died at Ashmore, and I actually came up with a couple.
Really?
Yeah. There's evidently a child that could be Elva Skinner, who died in a fire at the home in the 1880s. And a Joe Bluxom, an elderly groundskeeper who died at the home. So there's two names you can possibly use.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Hannah, 2 years ago. Huh.
She died there. She died there 2 years ago? Really?
She was evidently friends or something with them.
Really?
Yeah. I'm sure Krista knows all about this, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Between Krista and if Brandy goes,
yeah, Hannah didn't die there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, between.
But evidently she
Chris,
visits.
and I heard the bunkhouses are also haunted, and the grounds around the place are haunted as well. She was an investigator that investigated a lot.
There you go.
Interesting. Why did she shush me? Oh. No, the bunkhouses aren't haunted. They've been cleansed. So yeah, they're not haunted anymore. So Barton, everything's going to be fine there.
Barton cracks me up. He goes out in the woods with a sword and a spear hunting dog men, but he don't want nothing to do with no ghost.
I think I'd rather have it the other way around. I could handle the ghost. I don't want come face to face with a dog man or anything like that. But that's crazy.
You know what? I don't know. I've run into both, and I'm not sure which one I would rather run into.
But
you know, and I have to wonder about, because I know Illinois is no stranger to cryptid activity. I'm wondering if they have, and that's a big place, 200 and something acres. I wonder if there's ever been any cryptid activity around there.
Well, Barton will be there, and he'll tell us if he sees anything. You know what? I thought there was. Krista, am I remembering this right? Did you tell me that there was some activity at the bunkhouse just outside of the door? Okay. But was there any cryptid activities out there?
Get out there and start hearing a lot of howls.
Yeah. Or seeing a UFO land in the field.
Yeah. You know, that's something that I've never experienced is a UFO. Never have.
Is that something that you've been hunting or exploring, or?
No, I mean, I had a time loss incident that I'm told was alien or UFO, whatever you want to call it, related. I was actually abducted. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be that guy. Never have wanted to be that guy. Still don't want to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll stick to ghost and beasties, and I'm happy. You know,
And just like anything else, I would love to see them from a distance, not necessarily in a spaceship or being abducted or being in the company of a Bigfoot or anything. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind witnessing.
I don't know if it just. When was Ashmore built?
19. The original building that we're going to be in is 1959. But the property, the Coles County Poor Farm, dates back to 1857.
There you go.
And no worries, Anna. Yeah. In 1916, they built, I think, the first or second house on that property. And then the house that's standing now was built in 59. 1959. Take that off there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never. I guess everybody has something that in the field that they just really. It's not something that blows their skirt up. I guess UFOs are my thing. But I don't know. I don't. Don't get me wrong. It'd be cool. I'm like you. It'd be cool to see one.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't say that if they landed and started disembarking that I wouldn't empty a magazine.
Hell no. Yeah.
Y'all suckers got me. It ain't happening again.
But then again, with their advanced technology, perhaps our bullets won't even phase them.
Maybe. Who knows? I might find out though.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I may just walk right up in. I don't know. I don't know how I would react. Honestly, I have no idea. And I know a lot of people. They talk about when and this goes with ghosts, cryptids, UFOs, whatever. You can sit here and say what you would do, but until it happens, you don't know how you're going to react.
I do know one thing. If something like that happens close to me, I would need to change my pants afterwards.
I've had a few underwear changing moments, yeah.
Who was it? I remember some comedian kept saying, first you say it, then you do it. Oh, shit. There it is.
Yeah. Yep.
I actually think it might have been Bill Cosby.
Possibly. But yeah, I don't know. Hey, Pamela, I'm out there with you. Mm-hmm. Even after hearing my own account, that not from me, but from others that looked into it. But the bad problem is I can't run away from nothing. So I may walk fast, but I ain't running nowhere. Not with my knee.
Yeah.
Of course, that protects everybody else I'm with. I'm always the slowest one in the group.
Well, it's the slowest one gets eaten or abducted or whatever. Everybody else is safe. So yeah, I mean, I would be in the same boat. Yeah. Hang on a second. I got to plug my computer in here.
Of course, Jason always says if something happens, he's going to put one in somebody's leg, so he's not the slowest one.
I'm trying to plug something. There we go. I forgot to plug my computer in, and battery was running down. So
yeah, don't leave me here by myself. I don't know if I can handle that or not. I didn't do so good last time I was by myself.
So what is the scariest thing that you've had happen paranormal wise?
Paranormal wise, I my problem is I don't know if I can call it anything, and I've had scary is I guess the scaredest I've ever been, and I don't know if it was paranormal or not. But it was after I had my dogman sighting, and I was at home alone, and there was a bad thunderstorm, a lot of lightning and thunder and everything. And I love storms, always have. Mm-hmm. And I looked out the living room window, or maybe it was the kitchen window. I can't remember. It was one of them. They was on the same side of the house. But the lightning flashed, and over by the telephone pole, I saw something standing by the telephone pole. Now it was raining cats and dogs, and every time the lightning would flash, this thing had changed positions, and it was man-sized, but it would go from like leaning on the post to standing up to back and forth, and it scared me so bad that I called a buddy of mine I went to school with, and I loaded my dad's shotgun because I didn't know what it was. Of course, I'm going back remembering what I saw, and I'm thinking this thing's coming to get me and everything. But I don't know if it was paranormal or not. I stayed up all night that night. But I think that was probably, as far as anything goes, the scaredest I've ever been. Now, don't get me wrong. When I had my dogman sighting, I was scared, but this was a different type. There was actually, um, it was sustained, I guess, because this went on for hours.
Yeah.
You know, but I've never, going out and investigating like out in Brown Springs. I've never been scared. I've been spooked a couple of times, startled or whatever. But me and Pops, Gary Spike Sr., had something charged through the brush at us, and that was the only time that that I've been out there that I felt the need to draw my gun.
Really?
Because it reminded me so much of my second encounter with what I believe was a dog man when I was young. When whatever it was, charged through the brush at me. It sounded just like it. And Pops had walked. We were sitting around the campfire. We were actually live. Either right before this happened or right when it happened. I can't remember. I think Krista was on that show. And Pops walked away to go pee or something. And I'm sitting there by the campfire by myself, and I heard this thing, and I reached over, and my pistol was in the truck, but his shotgun was leaning against a chair, and I grabbed his shotgun and racked around in it. And then when he came over, I handed it to him, and he covered me while I got my pistol out of my truck. And this thing had come down through the creek, and you could hear it crashing down the bank. And it sounded like it partially went up the other side towards us and then went down the creek or up the creek. I'm sorry. Making all kinds of racket, and it went dead silent. And we tried to find it. I mean, it was dark, we had our lights going and everything, but we couldn't find anything. So I don't know what it was. But we've had activity out there before. We've seen stuff. Other people have seen stuff in that, I call it a creek. It's really just a gully, but right there by camp. So we've had stuff come up and leave a handprint on one of the vehicles, make a big pee spot. Somebody else saw something, was watching us from the gully and ducked down real quick. And so we've had stuff walk around our tents and steal our firewood and all kinds of stuff. But I didn't know what it was. But that was the only time I'd ever been out there that I felt the need to draw my weapon.
I remember you sending me the pictures from the last time you were on the show here of the handprints on your truck. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, we're really happy. I mean, the whole team was giddy. I mean, we were like a bunch of school kids when we started showing them around to everybody that that wasn't there and everything. Look what we got and everything, and it was. And I've shown them to a lot of reputable people in the field, and I get the same answer. Those aren't human, So what do you do with that? And I did find out some new information the other day. I was talking to Ranger, which was his truck was parked next to me, and he's the one that had they got into his ice chest and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, and I was at his place, and we were talking. My nephew was there, and I was telling him about it. And he goes, "Well, they didn't just get in the ice chest; they opened the tailgate." And I didn't know that. I didn't know that they had actually lowered his tailgate and got into the ice chest. But yeah, so that was something.
For them to figure out how to lower a tailgate, I mean, it's not the hardest thing in the world to figure out how to do, but what else can they do?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean,
freaking scary.
They lowered the tailgate. They opened a bear-proof Yeti cooler Now they closed the lid, but they didn't latch it back. They scooped water out of it, water and ice out of it. And the
I
thing
know that
about
they
it
got a
is,
drink to it.
and a lot of people will go, well, what if it was just some kids or whatever? They were in such a rush to get up there to me when my phone went dead when I was doing it live up there. That,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something else I didn't realize either. They left the truck unlocked. They left all the camera gear, all the electronics, even the key fob to the truck sitting there in the truck, and everything was unlocked. Nothing was missing. Nothing. Not even drinks out of the cooler.
Right.
So I think if with all that expensive gear sitting there, I would think if it had been some kids or whatever, stuff would come up missing. I would think. But why would they just go around and put muddy handprints on the truck and scoop water out? And that makes no sense.
Yeah.
And plus the handprints, I mean, if you look at the dermal ridges on the fingerprints, they're not human.
Mm-hmm.
Human fingerprints swirl. These were straight across like a primate. In fact, I was talking to somebody, and he told me that, and he's a wildlife biologist, or wildlife journalist, and he said that the closest thing that those handprints looked like to him were not exact because of the shape of the hand, but the dermal ridges were howler monkey like.
Wow.
But the hand shape is not. So that's more gorilla like because of the location of the thumb, because the thumb is like located way down here. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a
Wow.
lot of interesting stuff that happened that night.
And these are just the stories of that you see. I mean, who knows, walking through the woods, I mean, if they're hiding, they're hiding someplace watching us and we don't see them. How many times do you think that happens, when you're out in the woods? Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
More than we care to probably think about. I, honestly, and I hear people a lot. They'll have an encounter. Thank you, Pamela. They'll have an encounter, and then they'll never want to go back out in the woods again.
Mm-hmm.
And my belief is that if you've been camping, if you've been in state parks, stuff like this, these things have been around you a lot. Odds are, and they haven't bothered you. I don't feel that they're these evil monsters waiting to pounce. If that was the case, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you.
Exactly.
Because God knows they've had plenty of chances at me.
Yeah.
But does it happen? Absolutely, it happens. Absolutely, but it's not as often as it could, for sure. Because I think we're basically their entertainment.
Yeah. And I kind of think that same thing about, if there's any aliens or UFOs flying around, maybe we're their specimen and, are their entertainment, like whatever that, what movie, I can't remember what that movie was. I think it was Truman or something like that. That, they're just, they planted us here and they're seeing how we survive, seeing how we mess up our world. We're doing a pretty good job of it, actually.
Yeah, we're good at that.
Yeah, but yeah, I really think that they have bases here, underwater or wherever in mountains or something, and they're monitoring us somehow for whatever reason.
And I'm not sure what they are. I know some people believe that aliens are nothing more than demonic or whatever. And I don't know. I can't answer that question. One, I've never seen one that I know of. And how can you prove they are one thing or the other?
Exactly.
It's all faith based and belief based. That's all it is. It's what you choose to believe.
Hmm.
And I don't think anybody can or should um, dismiss anybody's belief in what these things are, because we don't know, honestly.
Agreed. And that's just like humans. I mean, there's some
Yeah.
good and some bad.
Hmm.
How can you judge what all Bigfoots or all dogmen or all of one thing is by just one encounter? I mean, you can't.
Yeah. And that's what it's not so bad now, but just a few years ago, we had a lot of people making blanket statements about the behaviors of these creatures, entities, beings, however you want to look at them.
Hmm.
And there may be similarities in their behavior and the way they look, but none of them are identical. They're as different as you and me. I mean, if Grandpa, and I say this all the time, but if Grandpa Bigfoot was shot in the ass, well, he's going to raise his, clan or whatever
Hmm.
to not be so nice to humans. And then you
Yeah.
hear stories about people being saved by him. You hear stories about lost kids being, you know, taken back to camp. But you also hear about them going missing and ended up in miles away. And there was one case where I think he was 18 months old, or he was really young. He went missing in a blink of an eye, and they found him like a month later up in a boulder field, like 12 or 15 miles away. And there's no way this little kid traversed all this.
No.
And when they got to him, he was dead, but he'd only been dead a couple of days. How do you explain something like that?
I, I,
And
I,
sometimes I think it
I,
happens. They abduct these kids or whatever, and they don't kill them on purpose, but we're not as robust as they are,
mhm.
you know?
You hear stories of apes or whatever who are in contact with their human trainers or whatever, and they're just playing around with them, and they don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know if they don't know how strong they are or what, but they end up either killing the trainers or hurting the trainers. I think this is the same thing.
Hmm.
That and I really think that a lot of these disappearances could be UFO related, Bigfoot related, or whatever, that these people are going missing and end up getting killed someplace. Not necessarily all of them are evil human beings taking these kids or people.
Right.
So I mean, that could be something too,
Well,
especially when you have a kid going up on those boulders like that.
right. Well, and the whole 411 phenomenon. I mean, I don't think there's any one thing responsible for it. I think it's a smorgasbord of things. It's If you believe in aliens, I think it's probably that and the cryptids and humans for sure, and
Mhm.
snatching people up. And also, you've just got people that wander off and bad stuff happens to them. They have accidents or whatever. It is amazing how many people will, thank you, Pamela. It's amazing to me how many people will go out in the brush, and they'll go out, or they go out in the mountains, or they go out, whatever. And we rely so much on our technology that they don't bother learning to read landmarks, which way the sun comes up, or anything like that, or even carry an actual compass with them.
Mhm.
Much less radios or an emergency beacon locator. But
Mhm.
people go out in the woods and in the mountains and everything every day, totally unprepared. They don't even take water with them.
Right.
You know, so yeah, things are going to happen.
when I was a kid, we used to camp in the Smokies or the Rockies or even places around here in Missouri. And every time we would camp with this other family, we'd always go hiking,
Right.
big trails and stuff. And every single time we would always make sure we had water and stuff.
Yep.
And like you said, maybe that's, we had the responsible adults with us. And these other people just I don't understand how you don't know to not have water with you or a little snack or something.
I don't either.
Because you always say, we'll only be gone for an hour, 2 hours or whatever, walk a mile or whatever. But that never happens. I mean, you always find something along the way that, let's explore down this little path. And yeah, I mean,
that's where people get into trouble. They get off trail. And people don't realize if you're in thick brush, thick woods, it doesn't take long to lose your bearings.
Right.
Especially if you don't know what to look for, and if you can't retrace your steps. It's ignorance. It's not stupidity necessarily. It's just ignorance of the situation. Now, I do consider it stupid not to at least take precautions, but I mean, how many people, live their life in a concrete jungle and walk out and they are not, folks, you're not at the top of the food chain once you step out in the brush. You're not, just like these morons that you read about and see videos of them trying to get out in Yellowstone and pet a freaking buffalo. They get exactly what they deserve, if you ask me.
Speaking of, we were camping in Yellowstone one time, and we were on a lookout point over a field of buffalo, and there was this picture on the side of the wall: "Do not approach the buffalo," and it had a picture of a bunch of buffalo in the field and somebody walking up there with a camera. No kidding. I looked at that sign. I looked out in the field. There was a guy right in the middle of the buffalo with his camera there. I'm like, this is not going to end well for you, buddy. But
right.
Yeah.
One of
some
the
people
saddest,
say you can't fix stupid.
Well, yeah. And there's a video. It's still out there, folks. You can look this one up. And it's old. I think it took place in the 70s. But there was two families. I think it was two families. There were two cars, and they were going through this safari drive-through thing, and they come up on a pride of lions. The dad gets out of the car with his camera and starts walking up to these lions. Well, it didn't end well. They snatched him, and his family, he had to sit there and watch him get eaten alive. That's not ignorance. That is stupidity or a death wish. One of the two.
Yeah. And not only is that stupid, I mean, look how it's going to scar their family for the rest of their lives.
Exactly.
I mean, the last
thing you see in the video or whatever, is the lion that's running off with his camera hanging out of her mouth.
Jesus. I've seen this picture a couple of times on Facebook. It was a lion, I think, with like a really bloody face that had just got finished eating poachers. But that's just stupid. I get that, the tiger's skin or the fur or the teeth are worth a lot of money, but come on, people. I don't get people.
If it was poachers, he got good riddance.
Exactly. And he got what he deserved.
Yeah. Now, Werewolf, you're right. Darwin Awards. Ain't no lie. Well, it's like the woman. It was just a few years ago that the woman got out of her car. I think it was in India, and a tiger came up and snatched her. And then the guy ran in to help her, and he ended up getting eaten too.
Oh shit!
But
Wow.
I'm like, why are you getting out of your car?
Yeah.
Oh wow,
My old boss was busted for trafficking elephant tusks. Wow.
wow.
You can always count on Freaky to keep it light in the comments.
I know, right?
But yeah, getting back to the Bigfoot. I don't know if you, if you remember Ernie Davio's story. He came across a couple Bigfoot. A group of them were hunting together. I think he was out hunting deer, and he was, I believe, on top of a hill coming down the hill. And to his left, he saw what he thought was a deer, but it stood up and it ended up being a Bigfoot. And to his right, there was some brush or some boulders, and there was an actual deer over there being attacked by Bigfoots,
Oh.
2 other Bigfoot, I believe. And the one that he encountered just like 6 or 10 feet away from him, he actually was communicating with it, and it didn't hurt him. Ernie, had the gun pointed at him, and they both ended up kind of doing this gesture. And perhaps that was a nicer Bigfoot, and that he was hunting with his friends over there, and he was waiting for the deer to come through, and they weren't exactly trying to get a human at that time. So, I mean, there are, I guess, good Bigfoots out there.
Well, yeah, and I think there certainly is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't advise you pushing the envelope. Leave that to us stupid morons that run around out there. But they say there's a fine line between bravery and stupidity, and I've jumped across it several times. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's again, I think they're as different as you and I. You may catch one that's having a bad hair day, or you may catch one that's trying to do his good deed for the day and help you out. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But they're unpredictable. You don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But I do not believe that they're monsters and just waiting behind every tree to pounce, like I said earlier.
No. Some could just be monitoring us.
They're just trying to have you're walking around in their living room. How would you feel?
Exactly.
Somebody just walk in your front door, dump their trash in it.
Thank you, Pam.
Well, Paul, I need to jet, brother.
All right, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Enjoyed it as always, man.
Yes, it was fun. I need to come on there. It was fun. So, and I'm gonna probably get going too as well. I gotta go get my son. So,
there you go.
Everybody, just thanks for watching. I appreciate everybody being here in chat. Tex, I certainly appreciate you jumping in. Make sure you guys tune in on Saturday. Hopefully we'll go live. Also, Blondes in the Booze will probably go live out there in Ashmore. So it's going to be a fun weekend planned out there. So hope you all have a great rest of the week and stay safe out there. If you guys have any storms coming your way, be safe, and we will see you all next time. Have a good night, everybody. Have a good day.